I actually applied to Wharton once prior to using Scott, and I got rejected. So I was a reapplicant in this past cycle, and I knew that I did not want to leave anything on the table. I think the first time I applied, my story was unclear, my GRE score was a little too weak, and I really needed to show growth and have that concise clarity in my story that I was struggling to formulate on my own. To me, the things that I was looking at when I was considering different coaches were first and foremost the background of the team. And I think that Scott worked really well because I knew that Wharton was my dream school. It was my number one choice that I really wanted to get into. And Scott is a Wharton graduate. So like that was natural parity and fit and was really good to me. The second component that I liked about Personal MBA Coach was Scott is also an ex-Deloitter. So I didn't have to provide like tons of context about my experience at Deloitte or my experience consulting. Like knowing and understanding those nuances made it much more efficient and quick to work with him, which I really appreciated. And then the third component, and objectively the biggest one for me, was candor. I had a lot of supporters in my first time applying to business school, and I really wanted someone who would be blunt and honest and clear with me about where my weaknesses were, what went wrong the first time I applied, in order to make those adjustments going forward in the future. So that was a really important one. And I think Scott and his team were super clear, super upfront, super honest with me through the entirety of the process and pointed out things that like my mom or my girlfriend might not necessarily have been as comfortable raising with me. So that was important. Weaknesses for me was absolutely my test score. It was a huge issue for me when I applied the first time, and I really needed to get the test score up. I think you'll hear a lot of mixed advice. For me and my profile as an applicant, having a really outstanding GMAT or GRE score was critical, and I could not get there on the GMAT, so I ended up switching to the GRE, make that switch early. But it is absolutely imperative that your score be competitive and put you into a profile. And I think Scott's team helped make it clear for me that like the average that you see on the website is not your personal average. You need to think about your characteristics, your background. So take time, work with tutors, do whatever you need to do to get your score up and manage those weaknesses. So again, highlight the strengths, manage weaknesses. That's kind of obvious, but it's really important. And I think Scott's team did a good job of helping me balance those two things. So at the end of the day, I dove in with both feet, worked with Scott's team, and it worked out. I have just started pre-term at Wharton. It has been everything that I possibly could have imagined it would be, which is such a nice relief. And I'm not 100% sure that I would have made it here without Scott's help.